Welcome back to another episode of Happy Home Paradise. The options were a little weird, starting out with toilets and then sweet scent. These weren't really calling to me. The next options were mushrooms, which is okay for fall, I guess, and wrestling, which would have been really fun and themed, but I ultimately went for pets and plushies because I just thought a cutesy theme would be so fun to build. I also low-key love Poppy. Her color scheme and her features are super cute. I would consider her for a villager on my main island, so I thought it would be perfect to have her on my Happy Home Paradise island. My first thought about how I wanted to do this build was like tea party with all of your plushies. So I chose this outside space that had both a sand element and a grass element to it, so you could bring those stuffed animals or animals around to different scenes. I thought a white picket fence style would be really cute on the back, just to distinguish it from the background. And I finally figured out how to use custom paths. I guess I had to unlock them. I was really missing this feature on my previous builds, so I wanted to take full advantage of it on this build and use the path that I use on my main island. It's such a pretty custom path. I see it all over online, and I'll have the code in the description if you want to use it. I did change the season because the grass spots on that path are more suited to the spring colors. Also, I thought it was cute. I started by adding this garden table in the bottom left. This is the outdoor tea time space. I thought the white colorway really fit the theme I was going for. I also found this pastel gnome and this bird bath to throw in the back here. Really liked how that bird bath offset itself so it wasn't super linear in that one corner. And then I started adding some stuff to the beach like this duck, and then I tried to do a picnic setup because I thought it would be adorable to have a space where you could have a tea party on the beach. But I didn't already have a picnic blanket code and I was feeling a little bit lazy. I thought it would be cool to have these beach chairs. I liked that the loungers matched with the garden table on the bottom left. I was struggling with the placement of the chairs, so I decided to move on and I would come back to them in a little bit. I thought we needed a little bit more distinction between the beach space just because it feels really open and this is more of a private space, so I did bring out this fence-like thing and I brought in that beautiful pink color. Along with the pinks, I saw this flower bed is pink and white. I thought it would fit right nicely in the front of the welcoming area. And then decided that I didn't like how bright those chairs were, and I just brought those lounging chairs down to make them the main part of the beach. I still wanted a communal area for the beach, so I did throw this campfire down, and I thought that was really cute, especially the way I do it up in a little bit. I was hoping that I could put a bear on one of these chairs to make it look like a tea party, but that didn't work, so I abandoned that idea. I wanted to add some greenery, so I threw a palm tree down, and that added some nice shade around the campfire. And then I also found some bushes with pink flowers that I could scatter across the build for a pop of color. I was having some trouble with the placement of these bushes because I didn't want them to feel too scattered, and I was hoping that they would help with the flow of the path to the door. And with the bushes in place, I thought the island needed a couple of flowers. I was really loving the colors that I chose. I thought the balance was really cute, but it was still very colorful. Of course, no build is complete without a little bit of texture, so I added a bunch of clumps of weeds. I prefer a lot of the early stage clumps. I think the late stage clumps just look a little bit too much, but the small ones are perfect for gap filling. I know some people like to put weeds on the beach. I much prefer the look of a clean beach, but I did think about it here when I was spreading things around, so I did end up adding clams and shells to the beach just so it wasn't super bare and it had some personality to it. I think I need to use more dropped items in my builds because it looks so good. Then I went back to completing the campfire idea, adding a log bench so that there was plenty of space to sit down, and it looks so cute under this palm tree, as well as a log stool just to balance it out and give another sitting option. I then started to work on the path again, and I found these adorable lanterns that would look so cute if they were glowing, leading you to the inside of the house. I loved this golden hour. I thought it was so beautiful, especially for the campfire space. The sun is setting and you're building a campfire and the lights are coming on. It would have been so perfect, but unfortunately the lights didn't work at this golden hour. I even tried to turn them on, but I guess they're automatic and only come on at night. And I did try that, but I felt like it was too late, and I really loved the vibe of the golden hour. So I do end up not turning on the lanterns, as cute as it looks, and because they weren't on, I decided to minimize how many I had, just so that they weren't taking up all of the path. I then went back and added a stool for this drink, as well as another drink for the other chair, which was an iced coffee. A little late in the day, but it never hurt anyone, especially if you're on vacation and maybe want to stay up a little bit later. And then I added this tea light, which was lit and did really add some ambiance to this golden hour. I threw down this speaker because I think it would be really fun to have music outside. I always like playing something in the background, and then I just started adding more garden decorations like this bunny. He looks really cute next to the door. And then I had the idea to throw down some sandals next to the lounge chair, as if someone was lounging here and then took off their shoes. Because I do have access to those custom paths, I thought it would be really cute to add some paw prints in the sand. And I didn't really know where I want to put them, but I thought next to the shoes was really cute. Like you went and took a dip in the water after sitting in your chair for a little bit. I did move the duck over just so that it had that space and was more balanced, but overall this area was so cute and I'm so in love with it. For the inside of the build, I was gonna do more of her theme elements, and I got surprised that I finally have unlocked partition walls. I've been waiting for this for so long. One of the biggest features in the DLC that I'm so excited about. I can't wait to partition my own space and make like different rooms inside rooms. And I totally forgot that I could change the room size because I was so excited about these partition walls and I was playing with them for a little bit of time. But I ended up using them to make a bedroom space and then a living room space for this build. I wanted the bedroom to be cute and cozy, so it was going to be on the right side and the larger living room space on the left. I was looking at that green wallpaper and also this pink wallpaper to see what I liked, but ultimately I wanted the furniture to stand out, so I went with something a little bit more basic in the end. Because I didn't want the room to be too pink, I wanted the furniture to speak for itself. So I thought this white plain wall and the pink floor would be really cute. This pink bed was everything that I wanted this space to be. It was so plushy and comfortable, and I tried to make this patchwork chair work. I wish I had the patchwork couch instead, just because I think the space needs a couch more, but I did try to make it work here, and I eventually switched it out. I changed the color of the bird cage so that it was on theme. I'm still doing those pastel and white colors, mostly pink inside though, because I think it fits Poppy's theme very well. And here's the couch that I decided to go with. Of course, it had to be pink, but I think it fit the space in terms of size a lot better. The bedroom was looking a little bare in terms of furniture, so I added this cube shelf, and I thought it was perfect because it didn't crowd the space, but it made sure that it had something else to it, and it also held the hamster cage. This bookshelf would have been cute, but it was a little bit too bright, so I ended up going with this plaid bear at the end of the bed, and I thought he was the perfect size just to like bring in some coziness. And then I found this pink crate to add an accent in the corner. I added a TV in the main living area, but I ended up removing it because I was hoping that I could hang something bigger on that partition wall, but you can't hang things from that wall, so this TV ends up coming back. And then because the box was alone in the corner, I wanted to add a beautiful bouquet of flowers. This is where I was thinking about hanging stuff on the wall, trying out the TV. And since the room was all about plushies, I decided to put some on display with a little light overhang in the bedroom. Then I went to some more basic wall fillers, like this clock you can't go wrong with and a telecom near the door, just to make it more of a lived-in space. And I think you can't go wrong with a pop of green that comes from plants. So I was thinking about doing like a plant wall, but I ended up just using the one plant item above this window. Here's me adding back the TV and then adding an AC unit in the top corner, as well as these fun, colorful flags. On this wall here, I always love having items that go from one corner to the other. It does such a good job at filling out that wall space. And because I did have to move that clock down, I decided to relocate it to the front wall above the main entrance. I moved the spotlight down one space in the bedroom and added this really cute mobile that fit the color scheme of the furniture in the bedroom, just as a cute decoration. And since the AC was in the other room, I thought a ceiling fan would be a good idea to keep the air moving and not stale in this one corner. I think adding things to the walls really starts to make this build come to life. When there's nothing hung on the walls, the space feels really empty. But now that that's done, I started adding more basic furniture pieces. I thought it would be really cute to fill this corner with like a get ready with me station. So a little vanity and then a little stool. I thought the white rattan vanity was a little bit too much, so I ended up going with this pink one instead. I liked how sleek it was and how it fit into this corner. I added a lamp and ended up switching around the bird cage and the lamp so it was tucked away in that corner, and then balanced out the room with a white trash can in the bottom corner there. The floors were looking a little bit plain, so I found this adorable heart-shaped rug as well as this cloud rug, and I just distributed them where I thought they would look the best. I needed a bigger rug for the main area, so I ended up putting the heart rug in the living room and this smaller rug in the bedroom. I think the rugs really help distinguish these zones, especially since I can only choose one flooring type for the whole build. Now I wanted to put some clothes next to the vanity so that Poppy could get ready all in one space, but I was really struggling with the different shades of pink, so I go back and forth between the outfits that I put on the wall. I also found some really cute pink slippers, so I put those next to the bed, which I do a lot in my builds because I think it's just a really cute way to add a little bit of clutter without being too much. The living room wall was feeling a little bare, so I went back and looked at some paintings as well as this corkboard and tried to distribute them in an even way, but I was really struggling with the height above the sofa and the height in the back wall there. I found that the painting had to be higher than the corkboard and it didn't really look right, so I did come back to this and try them a little bit high, but then it didn't look right. Like Poppy would never be able to reach that corkboard, so I got rid of that idea and decided to come back to this wall a little bit later. I don't know why Poppy would need all of these keys, but I thought this white key holder looked really cute next to the door. And finally I found a good idea for this living room wall where I made a gallery wall of all of the albums that kind of fit the vibe of the space. I had a lot of fun arranging these pieces in different formats, and I think I'm definitely going to have to use this gallery wall idea in the future because it was just so versatile and fun. It did take me a moment to figure out what I was doing, and I had to step back a couple of times to see if it really worked for the space, and this is the layout that I ended up going with. Looking around, the bottom right area was looking a little bare, so I ended up throwing another tea time space there. It was a little tight in terms of area available, but I think it worked, especially after moving it back one block. I found these delicious looking plain cupcakes to place on the table, and then I thought the area needed more green, so I tried to include this plant, but it didn't end up working just because it was so big, and I was trying to fill space, but I didn't really like the items, so I went with this aroma diffuser instead. The corner was looking a little dark, so I brought another lamp over, and I was trying to find where I wanted it to go, but it didn't end up fitting in that space, so ultimately I did not do a lamp in the corner. I then switched the hamster cage to pink to be on theme, and then I moved the dog to the main living area so I could fit a planter under this window. I was still stuck on the idea that the room needed more plants, so I grabbed this one, but I thought it was too bright, so I ended up switching it out for this plant instead, which is a little bit more desaturated. Since the height of the plant was a little bit bigger, I ended up sticking it right in the corner and then putting the lamp in front of it, and I really liked how the air conditioner made the leaves move. Of course, I had to give Poppy a little bit of a makeover, so I gave her that pom-pom sweater that I had put on the wall initially, and it was finally time to take pictures of the space. The living room area is absolutely my favorite. I could see myself curling up on the couch with a blanket and reading a little book, so I hope Poppy really likes it. Also, can we talk about the camera angles in this lookover? The game did me so dirty. The room looks so awful, just staring at the wall. This one's not too bad, but some of them are just like straight looking at the partition wall, or why is she stuck in the corner like that? I have no idea what was happening here. Trust me, the room looks cute, just not like this. Like the creepy bear behind the corner, what is going on? And then there's just this where you can't see anything that I like about the room. So after that fiasco, I walked outside once again just to see the rest of the build. Despite all the bad camera angles, I hope you enjoyed this build. I had a lot of fun making it, and I hope to see you next time. If you want more Happy Home Paradise, I have a whole playlist available. Bye bye!